Hello friends, and welcome to my channel. Also welcome to sort of my new backdrop. It's in transition. I'm waiting on some twinkle lights to come put it up. But anyway, we are going to be taking you on a vlog today. We're headed to Callaway Gardens, Georgia. This is kind of southwest Georgia. I won't say quite central, but near like Columbus, Georgia, and a little bit southwest of Atlanta. Just to give you an idea on the map. Now, our family has been there a couple of times before, so this is actually going to be our third time visiting. We are heading out for a family reunion there. It's my great aunt's 85th birthday, so we're going to celebrate her, see lots of family, and have some fun. But I thought I would bring you along with us. Now, since we're going to be doing a lot of things family friendly, spending time with our family, we might not get to do as much as we normally would on this trip, but I thought I would at least tell you about the area, give you some ideas of things to do if you're looking to go there for a family trip, and show you some clips from there, maybe some pictures from our past trips. I just wanted to kind of run through all things Callaway Gardens for you. And coming up on Columbus and Fort Benning area, this is kind of like home to me because a lot of my family is around this area. Lots of family reunions in this neck of the woods. And here is Callaway Gardens. So we are coming into the park area. You do have to pay to get into the park unless you are staying on property, and then it's free. And I don't remember how much it was to get in, but I do remember that for a family of four, it was close to $100 total. So if you're staying on property, though, it's free, but it's a little more to stay on property, and it's non-refundable. So that's why we stayed off property. And here is the lake area. Now, we're here in April, so it's not as busy this time of year. It's actually pretty empty, and there's not as many things that are out. In the past, they have everything set up. The summertime is really busy, which is when we've been before. So this is what it looks like usually in the summer. Lots of bouncers out in the open and the fountain going, a lot more crowded. This is the area where there's a food court, and they serve things like burgers and stuff here, and a food truck and a little drink station, but none of that is really out this time of year. There's also a choo-choo train for the little ones on site and a little playground area, but it was also not out. I mean, the playground was, but not the choo-choo. Also, a lot of biking around here, lots of bike trails and people just riding around the area. The water is extremely cold right now in April, so I was hanging out on the beach line, but the kids were having a lot of fun. So it's still, again, it was just not very crowded, not many were there, just a few families, and not as much to do. There is a little putt-putt station though, so a few things for the families to do, giving you a little tour around here. So you can play putt-putt with the family. There's also a lot of rentals where you can do a lot of water activities, rent some little boats and paddle out. I can't remember, there over across the lake were more rentals, but again, this time of year, a lot of it was down. So really the best time to come is probably in the summer. Also, the winter is really popular as well because they have the lights out for Christmas, and it's a really beautiful area. Here are the gift shops. They were all closed too. And then coming back up to around the food court. So like I said, probably a little better in the summertime. And then driving around on the property, just giving you a little tour. Now, golfing is very popular here. There's a lot of tournaments that happen up in this area. My dad's a big golfer, so he can tell you all about it. So people are out golfing and, like I said, biking and stuff as well. And we're coming up on the butterfly garden here. So this is very popular. Just a lot of the really pretty flowers, a flower show, like azaleas are blooming. So in the spring it is pretty, but just not as popular. And here is the atrium for the butterfly garden.
Yeah, and their wings are like, you know, they're getting
ghosts. Just a ghost came and knocked you down.
Some of them have hatched, but some of them have. What?
Elena's in heaven. She loves
lot of flowers as they're making food.
Probably. It looks probably so cool. He's like out of the water. Hey, yo, pull her out.
God,
Mm-hmm.
it's so big.
Wish the glass was a little clearer.
I found.
We had our daughter drive a little bit because she has her learner's permit. Got to get that practice in.
Listen to that. You know what? Oh wait, as soon as you're gonna become a real driver.
Yeah.
Also, don't
And
And we'll talk about hotels a little bit more and places to stay in a minute. But first, here is the lodge and cottage area. So there are a few places to stay on property. But we'll talk about that
There's
more
also
soon.
a bird show out at the lake and a little museum.
So there's what is called the Discovery Center, and this is where they have the bird show and a little museum. There's also a chapel where you can learn about the Callaways. Not a lot to do for kids there, though, just a nice little history, and then just touring the property.
That's about it on property. So I would recommend like a day, maybe 2 days for the actual Callaway Gardens itself. Around the area, a couple of places. One is the Franklin D. Roosevelt State Park. This is a fabulous place at the top of Pine Mountain.
And here is the entrance to the state park. We'll talk about that in a minute, but just really pretty views all the way up the mountain.
Now, we are down in Tallahassee, Florida, so for us, Pine Mountain is the closest thing we get to mountains. When I say mountain, I'm using that term loosely. It's more like a foothill, but you do have a beautiful view at the top. It's a great hike. We hiked it with our family, and then just gorgeous view from the top. You can get up there, a little statue of Roosevelt himself. You can even still see the little spot where he had his little grill over the mountain there. There's also a little museum close by you can check out with him. And so that's a nice little place too. And beautiful sweeping views at the top. So really recommend the Pine Mountain, that state park. I also really recommend, especially with the kids, if you have kids, what's called the Wild Animal Safari Park. This is where you can drive through and see a bunch of animals that come straight to your car, and you can feed them right out of your car. Now, I do not recommend taking your own car though. You can if you want, but I do not recommend it because there is slobber. There are giant tongues like this big from buffalo, giraffes, you name it, that are going to like attack your car. You don't really want your car getting scraped up by buffalo horns and slobber all over the windows. It's disgusting. So I recommend renting their little safari Jeeps. They're painted like little zebras and they smell terrible. No air conditioning, but they protect you from your own car getting disgusting. And so I recommend renting one of those for the day or for a few. I think it's a good, you get like an hour to drive around this whole park and have the animals visit you. And then there's also a zoo on site afterwards, a little petting zoo. My cats are attacking me right now. They're having a fabulous time in my backdrop. Don't mind them. But anyway, you can I have my own zoo at home, but they have a really fun zoo there for the kids. You can see monkeys, lots of fun things. My son still remembers the baboon with the red hiney is what he calls it. So really fun time. I really recommend this little zoo, this little animal safari park. And they had a little food court also there where you can get ice cream and just, enjoy sitting down. I can't remember if they had lunch or not, but it's a really fun time for the kids. Another thing that we didn't do was also a little amusement park type place. I believe they had maybe like bumper cars and arcades and just, family fun. So that's another thing to check out close by. And then you also have the little town of Pine Mountain itself. Not a lot to do there. It's just some little shops and a couple of small places to eat. Little mural on the wall. So a place to visit if you like small towns like that, but not a lot to do there really. So just strolling through the town of Pine Mountain, as you can see, like I said, not very much to see here. If you blink, you'll miss it. Just a few little shops, a few little restaurants. There's really just a couple of restaurants. And then you have what was called Fresh, where we hung out for a little while. You can get drinks and tapas, if I'm saying that correctly, but it's like a little tapa bar. Very cute little place. We like that. And there's one on the corner called Eats on the Corner, which was a good place to eat as well. This is still fresh on the inside here. And then just strolling around, there's a few shops. Like I said, not much though. So let's talk about hotels for a minute, places to stay. You can either stay on property, the lodge, or there's a couple of places right outside of Callaway Gardens, a couple of cute little hotels. One I think was like the Mountaintop Inn we stayed at. We kind of liked it. And here's a little tour of that one. It was the Mountain Creek Inn back then. Nice little place. Now they are pretty much outdoor rooms mostly, but it had a pool and everything too, and it was a nice little place to stay. They may have renamed it since then. There's a little there's cabin rentals that you can rent. That's another place we stayed at with another family reunion we had. There might be like a Pine Mountain Inn, or you can stay close by like us in the nearby town of Columbus, Georgia, where there's a little bit more to find. And this was the Hampton Inn in Columbus, and this is where we stayed on this trip, and it was pretty nice, and free breakfast in the morning here, so we were so stuffed though from a lot of eating, we didn't eat much. Not too many places. It's pretty small. I'm also going to warn you about food. Not a lot of places to eat food. So if you are coming to stay with a family that has a lot of either picky eaters or special needs, medical needs, all of that stuff, we have all of it in our family. I would really recommend bringing a lot of your own food, finding like a VRBO or something where you can cook. And then there's also a really cool place to eat in Pine Mountain that is like a family sit-down meal with a gorgeous view over the mountain. I believe they may only serve in the morning for breakfast though. I don't think that they were open for dinner. Also, Crickets is another one in Pine Mountain. It was a favorite of ours. And then you have eating options over in Columbus where we were staying at the hotel. So this is the IHOP where we absolutely pigged out. That's about it. That's about everything in the area to see. So like I said, it's a really fun trip for, 2 or 3 day, a weekend getaway with the family, but I wouldn't recommend it for a lot longer than that. You probably won't get a whole week out of it. And especially if it rains, like it did rain on us, not as much to do. So, but there are a lot of fun little things. And last, just some clips from our little family reunion here celebrating my great aunt's 85th birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
This was a hit with my family, and my daughter is an amazing artist, just had to show off her art. So that wraps it up, guys. I hope that you enjoyed just a little summary of things to do there, and a few pictures and videos, slides, clips of what it looks like for planning your trip to Callaway Gardens, Georgia. And hope you have a good time if you get out there. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.